When you're famous, you don't need to be nice, but it definitely helps. That hasn't stopped these actors from developing reputations for being difficult to work with. From stuntmen to directors to other actors, people of all backgrounds in Hollywood simply can't stand Steven Seagal. His hosting of Saturday Night Live in 1991 infamously encapsulated just how difficult and rigid a performer he could be, as he frequently talked down to the cast and writers and forced the staff to rewrite the Hans and Franz skit to be about how tough he is. The marked for Death Star went as far as to pitch an idea for a sketch that involved him playing a therapist who assaults his patient. The experience led to Lorne Michaels, along with many fans, referring to Seagal as the worst SNL host of all time. Over the years, multiple actors have gone on record to describe how Seagal took his role as an action star way too seriously, taking extreme physical liberties with his co-stars and stuntmen. Michael Jai White, an accomplished martial artist and actor, explained it very bluntly in a 2021 interview with Vlad TV.
Steven Seagal hits the shit out of people. That's a unique situation.
According to the Spawn star, Seagal's bullying antics drove those on set with him crazy to the point that a director and producer both blatantly asked White to hurt Seagal for real when filming a fight scene. White refused. As White described it, the Under Siege actor was always strategic about who he got physical with on set. If Hollywood gossip is to be believed, perhaps Seagal learned the hard way after being humiliated by legendary martial artist Gene LaBelle on the set of Out for Justice. Once upon a time, Charlie Sheen was the sitcom king, earning record-breaking millions for his run on CBS's 2.5 Men. However, things came crashing down in 2011 when the actor's personal troubles and animosity with series creator Chuck Lorre culminated in his abrupt departure. Not long after his shocking exit, Sheen was already starring in another sitcom, FX's Anger Management. It didn't take long for trouble to start brewing again. Halfway into the second season, Sheen's co-star Selma Blair was let go from the show after the two reportedly quarreled over the former's work ethic, or lack thereof. Sheen allegedly dismissed Blair through an expletive-filled text and threatened to walk from the FX series if she was not let go. While Sheen has successfully managed to sober up and heal his relationship with Lorre, that doesn't mean that his previous co-stars are lining up to work with him again. In a 2024 appearance on The View, actor John Cryer explained that while he wished Sheen nothing but the best, restarting a working relationship was simply out of the question. He elaborated, "The thing for me is, when 2.5 Men was happening, Charlie was the highest paid actor in television, probably ever, and yet he blew it up." Cryer continued, "I love him. I wish him the best. He should live in good health for the rest of his life, but I don't want to get in business with him for any length of time." Chevy Chase's comedic fame has often been eclipsed by just how much of a pain he can be to work with. The actor's time with Saturday Night Live, where he was one of the original castmates, was nothing short of a toxic roller coaster. Even when he came back to host in 1978, it was bad, as he fought with Bill Murray moments before going live, and when he hosted again in 1985, he reportedly hurled homophobic comments at Terry Sweeney. Chase's contentious SNL tenure is essentially a how-to manual on being a terrible coworker. Later in his career, when he seemed to be going through something of a resurgence thanks to his role as Pierce Hawthorne in Community, Chase once again made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Even at the height of the show's popularity, he couldn't keep himself from talking badly about the NBC sitcom and clashing with his co-stars.
Let Pierce cool down. You know how crazy and paranoid he can get.
Aha! Crazy, paranoid, impotent?
His heated relationship with the series, its creator Dan Harmon, and his castmates culminated in his dramatic exit in 2012. As Community geared up for its Peacock revival film, series star Joel McHale plainly admitted that fans should not expect a Pierce Hawthorne return, directly pointing to Chase's chaotic exit. He told the New York Post, "I don't think he's allowed to. I don't think it would happen." Obviously, his unceremonious departure in season 4 pretty much did that in. From 2009 to 2015, Lea Michele earned her fame for portraying Rachel Berry in Glee, the show's resident, good-natured, and lovable protagonist. However, years after the show's conclusion, allegations arose that painted the performer in a not-so-good-natured light. In her 2016 memoir, the late Naya Rivera recalled her experience working with Michele, describing her co-star as her polar opposite and explaining that the two were no longer on speaking terms by the show's end. Rivera wrote, "If I'd complained about anyone or anything, she'd assume I was about her. Soon, she started to ignore me, and eventually got to the point where she didn't say a word to me for all of season 6. In June 2020, Samantha Marie Ware, who joined Glee for its 6th and final season, made a since-deleted tweet accusing Michele of tormenting her on set. In all caps, Ware declared, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell? Because I'll never forget. I believe you told everyone that if you had the opportunity, you would in my wig," amongst other traumatic microaggressions that made me question a career in Hollywood. An avalanche of allegations soon followed, with each spotlighting accounts of Michele treating some of her fellow Glee co-stars along with the show's background extras horribly. Over the years, Mike Myers hasn't developed the most stellar reputation when it comes to his behavior on set. According to Wayne's World director Penelope Spheris, the actor was not the easiest to deal with. She admitted to Entertainment Weekly he was emotionally needy and got more difficult as the shoot went along. In a 2016 AV Club interview, actor Amy Hill recalled how strange and reclusive Myers was while filming 2003's The Cat in the Hat. According to Hill, the Austin Power star was able to exercise firm creative control over filming, frequently taking the reins from director Bo Welch. At the same time, he refrained from interacting with the rest of the cast, going so far as to cover his trailer with tenting. Allegedly, Myers even had his own personal chocolate courier. She explained, "There was a guy who held his chocolates in a little Tupperware. Whenever he needed chocolate, he'd come running over and give him a chocolate." In early 2023, Myers' name was once again brought to the forefront for all the wrong reasons. Canadian radio host Jay Brody claimed to have previously worked on the set of 2008's The Love Guru as security, and claimed that it was the movie's main star who got him fired. According to Brody, he was let go after making eye contact with Myers, an apparent hard rule that loomed over the set. Jared Leto is such a pain to work with that it made national news. The actor/rock star/cult leader is notorious for his commitment to method acting, but his co-stars don't exactly appreciate it when he stays in character behind the scenes.
I love this guy. He's so intense.
The most glaring examples of Leto's bad behavior occurred when he stepped up to play the Joker in 2016's Suicide Squad. The actor's take on the clown prince of crime allegedly involved him sending a rat to Margot Robbie and a dead pig to Viola Davis. Years later, when Leto jumped into the superhero realm once more with Morbius, the actor made it a habit to emulate his disabled character by limping on crutches across the restrooms. This burdened production to the point where a compromise had to be made. Eventually, someone, probably a horribly underpaid production assistant, had to start pushing Leto to the bathroom in a wheelchair. That said, it seems that Leto is very particular, almost strategic, about who he goes full method actor with. Denzel Washington plainly admitted that Leto didn't pull anything strange with him on the set of The Little Things. Washington joked, "Nah, he'd have been paid to visit. That wouldn't happen." Things weren't always smooth sailing on the set of the CBS police procedural Criminal Minds. The show's original run debuted in 2005 and ran until 2020, with an incredibly demanding shooting schedule to match. Whenever things got difficult on set during the first handful of seasons, there appeared to be one recurring name at the center of things: Thomas Gibson, who played Unit Chief Aaron Hotchner from 2005 to 2016. Gibson was fired from the series after he reportedly kicked producer Virgil Williams in the shin. This was the last straw, as it wasn't the first time the actor was involved in a physical altercation on set. In 2010, it was reported that Gibson had shoved assistant director Ian Wolfe. Aside from these two instances, the actor's presence on set burdened the show in other ways. Filming reportedly had to allocate time for Gibson to travel home to San Antonio, and in 2013, after receiving a DUI and getting his license revoked, it suddenly became the responsibility of staffers to drive him to and from set. Few shows have garnered as much gossip and controversy as ABC's Grey's Anatomy. The show debuted in early 2005, and at its peak, there seemed to always be some type of drama unfolding behind the scenes. Ellen Pompeo, who played Dr. Meredith Grey, hasn't been afraid to admit as much. She explained to Variety in 2019, "The first 10 years we had serious culture issues, very bad behavior, really toxic work environment." Patrick Dempsey, who played Dr. Derek McDreamy Shepard for 11 seasons before being killed off, often has his name brought up alongside the word diva whenever Grey's Anatomy drama is brought up. According to Lynette Rice's book, How to Save a Life, The Inside Story of Grey's Anatomy, James D. Perriott, a former executive producer on the show, described Dempsey as an absolute terror. He admitted, "Dempsey sort of was terrorizing the set. Some cast members had all sorts of PTSD with him. He had this hold on the set where he knew he could stop production and scare people." Dempsey reportedly clashed frequently with Pompeo and series creator Shonda Rhimes, with his actions and attitude on set often dumbfounding the cast and crew. After all, McDreamy was the highest paid actor on the show during his tenure, a move that inevitably created friction with the show's main star. According to Pompeo, she was rejected multiple times when she asked Dempsey that they negotiate their salaries together. In her words, "There were many times where I reached out about joining together to negotiate, but he was never interested in that." Bill Murray made a career out of playing affable protagonists in hit comedies, but behind the scenes, the Ghostbusters star has consistently cemented a reputation of being a difficult actor to work with. In 2022, Murray's inappropriate actions toward a crew member led to production of Aziz Ansari's film Being Mortal getting suspended.
I did something I thought was funny, and it wasn't taken that way.
That same year, Gina Davis, who starred alongside Murray in 1990's Quick Change, recalled how much of a terror her co-star/director was in her book Dying of Politeness, a memoir. According to the Oscar winner, Murray not only incessantly pressured her into using a massage device on her back despite her multiple objections, but he also yelled at her in front of the entire crew while she was delayed waiting for the wardrobe department. In another incident, Murray was allegedly so condescending and rude to Lucy Liu during a rehearsal on Charlie's Angels that the latter fought back, literally. with some punches. Even a 9-year-old Seth Green apparently wasn't safe from Murray's erratic behavior. Green claimed that Murray dangled him by his ankles over a trash can during an episode of Saturday Night Live after the young Green refused to get off the couch.